Good morning. And no, I did not write that Jordan and LeBron debate line, Keyshawn Johnson. It is time to skip the BS, time for Undisputed, time to talk Wow Boys with my guys, Keyshawn Johnson and Michael Irvin. Good morning, gentlemen.
What's happening?
Yeah. Michael,
What's
you
up,
there?
guys?
There you are.
I am here, guys.
Good to hear your voice.
Great to hear you guys, too, man. And it starts tonight. The main week, it won't end Sunday night, but you know what I'm saying.
It's the beginning. You got it. All right, we do start today by coming at the Dallas Cowboys from a very different angle. So think about this with me. Here they sit at 9-3 with the NFL's #1 offense and #3 defense, having won 14 straight games at home, with the Eagles coming to town Sunday night. And yet, all I continue to hear is that this is the perfect worst-case scenario for Cowboy fans, that the 2023 Cowboys have set up Cowboy Nation for yet another epic collapse. That's all I hear. Just as they've pretty much done right on cue, year after year after year after year after year for 28 years since they played in their last NFC Championship game and won their last Super Bowl. For years and years on ESPN, all I heard from my man Stephen A. Smith was the Cowboys are an accident waiting to happen. 7 years on this show, all I heard from my man Shannon Sharp was the Cowboys will predictably do cowboy things, bad things at the worst times. Keyshawn Johnson.
Yo.
You did play for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
So with the Cowboys flying into the teeth of their schedule, Eagles, at Bills, at Dolphins, Lions, is it fair now to anticipate they'll do what they've pretty much done for 28 straight years, break their fans' hearts?
Well, the way that you position that question to me, Skip, is you said for 28 years, the way that they've broke their fans' hearts. Mm-hmm. That means finishing the deal. I don't think that the Cowboys are going to finish the deal. I think that they'll make the playoffs, but then I think they'll be home for the rest of the postseason as it stands right now, because you're asking me to predict this. So essentially, yes, it's the same setup that we've seen since 1996, Skip. It's the same setup. I was at that Super Bowl. In fact, I was hanging out with Michael, the playmaker, in 1996 in Arizona when they played the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wait, you were hanging out?
Well, he was,
like late at night? You were.
Well, they won. It doesn't matter.
In the same areas.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the same areas.
In the same areas. That was my rookie season going into the NFL, and I had an opportunity to meet a guy named the playmaker. Let's put it that way. Look, they're getting ready to face a wounded team who 2 weeks ago had the #1 seed. Everyone was saying they're the top dogs in the Philadelphia Eagles. They're coming into Dallas wounded. So they're mad.
Wounded by the outcome, not injured.
No, wounded by the outcome.
Yeah, okay.
And the noise that continues to surface throughout the Pennsylvania area about what type of team they are. Okay, so they're getting ready to go into Dallas. Then as I look further, and we have this conversation all the time, Skip, the history shows that the Cowboys will crumble. And you mentioned some of that, but I'll give you a little bit more.
All right.
They won 8 division titles. They have won division 8 times since winning the Super Bowl back in '96. They've never gone further, despite winning those divisions, than the divisional round.
Correct.
Which means they never reached the NFC Championship game.
Once.
To give you and Michael Irvin real hope that they're going to finish the deal.
Mm-hmm.
They are 5-12 in playoff games since '96. Now, let's get to what we always talk about, the 14-game home winning streak that you believe is on your side. Nice, cushy field, a lot of bounce to it.
As I've told you, the average score in those 14 games was 37-18. You say, well, who have they played? But they did beat the opposition coming into Dallas.
Yeah, they beat the team. You win and you win and who you win. But now that you mention that,
everybody.
Those teams were 47, 57, and 1 combined. The best team record was the Giants at 7-3. No other team that they faced had 7 wins. No other team that they faced, other than the Seahawks, was above 500.
Well, wait.
Don't tell me that. Don't you dare open your mouth and say Eagles. Eagles, Gardner Minshew. Don't do that.
Eagles.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well, I mean, they were way over 500.
Skip, I knew you were going to go there. I don't count the Eagles. I don't count them. But here's what I would say. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, as we talked about yesterday.
It is.
Not only for the Cowboys, the franchise, but for the star quarterback. If he can finish the deal and show that he can beat this opponent like San Francisco did, maybe not the same. I don't care if it's by half a point.
I agree.
Can he win this one?
I agree.
Because everybody is watching, Michael. The world will be watching. You will not avoid me Sunday night because you will be with me sitting next to me watching this, Michael. You have to be. Because if you don't, I will crucify you, okay, for avoiding me for this particular game. You have an opportunity. Let's see if you can seize the moment.
Yeah, you know what I love, too, and I do love that because we can't go back to them days, kid. We can sit here and bring people along and say, man, I remember at that Super Bowl, we were talking about it. And Key, you know what? You just that's a sign, Key. I got to take that as a sign, God saying something. You know, you and Key are back together this year.
True.
The last time y'all were together, were out there in Arizona when you were in the Super Bowl. Key, I appreciate you bringing the Cowboys Nation that God sent you as a sign to them that we're going back to where you and I had that conversation. Now, let me tell you why this is going to be different this time, and I know we're talking about it. Guys, this is how I harmonize all the things I said. Remember we started talking about that Dak Prescott. A couple weeks ago, I said, I don't want to hear that MVP stuff. It's coming out of this side and that side of your mouth. Then, after you start playing well, I said, now he's grabbed the other M. He's grabbed the M and half that V. But to get that other half of the V in the P, you got to win this game. The reason this thing is going to be different is because Dak Prescott is now different. He's ready to take this step. He talked about it. I keep going back to it with that interview I had with him. And since that moment, they have taken off. They have taken off. This is the next step. To take them farther, to get them into an NFC championship game and start talking about getting towards the Super Bowl. Once you get into the NFC championship games, a lot of this has to stop. All of this has to back out. I know we said Dallas hasn't been there since yours truly was there playing, but the reality is there's a lot of teams that haven't been there over the last 30 years.
But we ain't talking about a lot of teams, Michael. We're not talking about a lot of teams, Michael.
Wait. I understand we're not a lot of teams. I'm just stating facts. I understand that, and we expect more out of us. The Dallas Cowboys, I should say, expect more out of the Dallas Cowboys because they wear the star.
Yeah, and so when you think about it, though, Skip, where the Cowboys are, they're in a situation where they've got to figure out how to get over this hump. And you and I, we keep talking about this because they haven't gotten there yet. And the fact that they have not gotten there makes you wonder, are we going to see the same repeat performance that we continue to see year in and year out? Different team, different makeup, different players. Whether it's Michael Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, whether it's young Ferguson, they all got to rise to the occasion. Whether it's Hooker at the safety position, whether it's Gilmore bringing over that savviness, whatever the case may be, they've got to step up to the plate.
Okay. Before I launch on this, just a quick aside about you were there in Scottsdale back in early 1996.
It was my entering into the draft.
You were distracting my team from its goal of winning the Super Bowl?
No. Michael Irvin and company were distracting me from understanding what the NFL was all about.
I kept hearing these stories that night after night, my guys, my Dallas Cowboys, were frequenting these late-night clubs featuring these scantily clad women. I don't know what was happening, but that's what I kept hearing, and I just hope you weren't being tainted by their ways. But
I was with some adults that were in the National Football League teaching me what I could potentially turn my life into.
Got it. Okay. You were getting career wisdom from Playmaker.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Now I'm going to launch on this. This has persisted year after year after year. And it is my cross to bear. You talked about crucified. This is my cross to bear because this has almost become self-fulfilling prophecy for my team because my players now, thanks to social media, my Dallas Cowboys, every year they read that they're going to have an epic fail. And I think it starts to actually manifest itself.
Right.
It's like it gets spoken into existence by the internet because they read it and it pollutes their psyches to the point that they start to expect that starting Sunday night down this stretch run, they're going to collapse. Even you have already predicted they're going to lose to Philadelphia. I think you predicted they're going to lose both the road games.
I did.
Okay, so that's 3 in a row at the worst possible time because this is supposed to be your stretch run. God bless Coach Landry. He always preached that you have to streak into the playoffs if you're going to go win the Super Bowl. Well, if you lose 3 in a row in December, that's no good. That won't work. And then the Lions come, and I think you're going to give them the Lions game. But after the Lions, I'm not sure you can get it back. Go ahead.
So, look, check this out, though, Skip. Yeah. You said it's starting to come Sunday. I'll mention one thing. Your coach just had a surgery.
He did, and I don't know.
We're going to get into all of that.
But think
about,
it hit me hard yesterday.
Think about that, though.
They say he's going to be fine.
No, I understand that, but just think about that for a minute.
It's just impossibly wrong, even though I think he's going to be just fine. And I think he'll be right back in the saddle on Sunday night. Yeah. But it's not the best case scenario for this week as you prep for your biggest game. It could be the biggest game of the NFL season. It's not great because he is now the play caller. Years past, I never was sure what he did. He's been calling plays at a very high level. He has reached back into his past, his Aaron Rodgers past, and rekindled the fire of people talking about him as maybe the best play caller in the NFL. And yet, my team psyches are polluted to think, here we go again. They won't say it publicly, but in their minds, they're being taught, they're being told that you are going to fall on your face mask starting now. But Keyshawn, for me, history should be history, literally past.
Understood.
It should be a new day, a new era, a new time, a new feeling of we're different. My quarterback he's a new man to me. I don't even recognize him half the time because I don't see the old Dak Prescott, the guy who just last year led I think we just heard Michael come back.
Yeah, and everything that you're saying is correct, Skip, about the past and all those things. And it would be different if it was reversed. If that 47-57-1 was 57-47-1, people would think differently. I promise you. But when you are jumping on the table, screaming and hollering and pounding your fist and doing the signature Skip Bayless about your Dallas Cowboys, and you ain't beat nobody, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt, big dog. That's just the reality of it.
Okay, but the team doesn't need to think that way. And I don't know if the veteran leaders in that locker room can stand up this week. I'm talking about a Zach Martin. I'm talking about a Tyron Smith out of USC. I'm talking about DeMarcus Lawrence. Can they stand up and say, history is history, it's past, it's over, we are new, we are different, we're going to do this because...
Do y'all believe they can?
Okay, this is the truth.
Right.
Doesn't
matter what we believe.
Look,
doesn't matter what we believe.
Michael,
it only matters what they believe and what they know. Skip is absolutely right on this. And listen, you're right on how, and this is where I was going, Skip, when I kept saying there are 30 other teams, a lot of other teams that haven't won in 30 years. But you picked it up perfectly. You picked it up perfectly. But all we hear about is the Dallas Cowboys. That's exactly what all they hear about is the Dallas Cowboys. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It does.
You know, you hear it, then you produce it. You hear it, then you produce it. This is why the Bible says faith coming by hearing. You hear it, then you produce it. You hear it, then you produce it. This is what they're going to break. This is what they have to break. And the only way to break it, you talked about those big boys on the front and that offensive line. And then once they give him the time, Dak has to make the right plays, and everybody has to make the right plays. I found it interesting even in this because you guys didn't catch this. Key, when you started talking, Key, you started saying, here they're talking about a wounded team. I guess you're talking about the Eagles, and then a stumbling team. So they already setting up, Skip. They know once the Cowboys win, he's already setting it up. Well, they were wounded. Yeah. They were stumbling in. They were coming off all these hard games they had to play in a row, and Dallas got them. That's what I already see the setup. I'm just saying, I'm going to take this game, Keith. I'm going to be there with you Sunday night. Don't worry about that. Don't sweat that. I got faith this time. Skip, I'm not scared. I'm going to walk right in the mouth of that lion, and we're going to take her out this time.
So the last time you didn't have faith is what you just admitted to, Mr. Irving.
Well,
That's what you're telling me.
I'm just saying.
Because you said,
I
have faith
like I told you.
this time. That's what it came out your mouth, not mine. And in terms of the wounded setup, you can't tell me, much like the 49ers went on a 0-3 skid, that they didn't feel some type of way going into Jacksonville when you and everybody else were talking about how bad of a team they were. When they got their bye and they regrouped, and they brought their DC to the sideline, and they went into Jacksonville and smashed them. This is the same mirror image that is now being projected on the Philadelphia Eagles, being wounded, beat up, battered, handled, destroyed, put in the trash can by the 49ers, and now they have an opportunity to walk into Jerry's world, where everything is on the line. Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson and Skip Bayless tweeting back and forth, and you're sitting there looking a certain way as you watch this game for the Eagles to go into this stadium and upset the Dallas Cowboys, because it will be an upset based on a 14-0 home record. This is what Skip would say.
Back in.
Now they go in there and upset you, putting you in a position to now have to go on the road, whether it's through Philadelphia or San Francisco, to relive 1996, only this time it'll be in Las Vegas. You will not be able to do that because you will not be able to go on the road, Philadelphia, San Francisco, if Philly beats you, because essentially they're going to wrap it up, right, Skip? If they win Sunday, they wrap up the division, wouldn't you say?
Well, I don't know. On any given Sunday, I don't know what.
Are you serious right now?
We got too many games left for you to say.
Oh, because all of a sudden the Giants will come. All of a sudden the Giants twice
they have to go
in Arizona.
Seattle, they have to go to Seattle.
But that doesn't
flip right on its head.
Even if they lost to Seattle.
Okay. What if we go to Buffalo and win, and all of a sudden we're right back in where we should be? Right?
I'm giving you real. You giving me something else.
No, I'm giving you.
It's going to be
day.
I capitulate that. Key. It'll be a tough run, and there's no doubt. But I'm sitting here telling you why I have faith in that run. Anytime. Because of the MVP in Dak Prescott and the way he's playing, the way he's protecting the football, and the way that offensive line that Skip talked about. Nobody's talking about this just because it's old news, but that offensive line right now is playing like one of the best offensive line in the National Football League. I was watching some tape of that 49ers-Philly game. That 49ers defense was slamming Philly offensive line. Didn't let them get any chance to get any kind of run game going. I mean, they were physical with them. We need Dallas's offensive line to be physical with Philly's defensive line, and I need somehow Dallas' defensive line to be able to stop the run, because I just think Philly's going to try to reestablish that run game.
All right. Let me sum this up for you. The Dallas Cowboys are better than the Philadelphia Eagles. I've been saying it all year, but you have to go prove it on the Sunday night stage. My offense is leading the whole league in points scored. Philly's defense has plummeted to 24th in points allowed, number 1 versus number 24. I think we have a significant advantage. My quarterback, as Michael just suggests, is playing at an extremely high level, above even Jalen Hurts. But Jalen has proven again and again that he comes up clutch in big moments in the biggest games. You have to go prove it against Jalen Hurts on Sunday night. 14 wins in a row at home means you now have a supreme home field advantage that you never had in the past. It means you should just go take care of business and take care of a reeling Philadelphia on Sunday night. They're a 3.5-point favorite at home. I think they should be 6-point favorites at home because I think in the haters' heart of hearts right now, I think in Keyshawn's heart of hearts, he knows that Dallas is better than Philadelphia. He sees it coming. He's scared. He's horrified. The haters are horrified about the tidal wave that could wash over America by America's team, because America's team is better than it's ever been since 1996.
Skip, I'm not a hater. All I try to do is bring order to you and Michael, man. That's really all I try to do. But y'all don't see it. But I want to ask you a question, though, Skip. Does opponents really matter? The type of opponent that you play, does it matter?
I guess ultimately it does, but you just have to beat who's on your schedule. And so if you beat the tar out of them, it's impressive.
10 years from now, we're not going to say they played the Giants. We're going to say they were 9-3 at this point. It's not
that's very true, Michael.
Of the game.
That is very true, because when you won your 3 Super Bowls, you guys didn't go through just a gauntlet of 16 games. You had good teams that you played, and then you had a couple cupcakes that you played. I get it. I understand that. The problem that you have right now, though, is you're not battle-tested. The Philadelphia Eagles are battle-tested. You passed a pop quiz with an open book against the Seattle Seahawks, and they hung up 35. They rang up 35 on this great defense
Sean, that
Skip keep talking about.
That was a battle, and we tested
Oh, God,
right?
you want it to be a battle. Oh, Michael, I want to ask you something before Skip takes us out of this. Do you think that the Dallas Cowboys could have used Shaq Leonard? Because you were not with us the other day talking about this.
And I heard the conversation. I heard both of you guys talking about that. And Skip, you know, talking about the back injuries and everything, and Indy letting him go. So, yeah, I want it because I know that the second level, Dallas needs help, and I was willing to even risk that those back injuries, you know what I mean, just to have some kind of
Okay, don't say anything else.
there.
Skip, take us to break.
On the other side of it, on the other side, he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
You know, the other teams have him. You know what I mean? The other teams had him, and Shaq's a good player, but if he can get back to where he was, he's a good player.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have had him.
Oh, would have liked to have had him. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to know.
Keyshawn, he would have been nothing more than icing on our cake. I want to stack up with as many good players as we can. But I don't worry about how much they cost or what else is going to be. Just bring them in here. I only care about this year. Jerry, they got to worry about things down the road. I just want a Super Bowl now. I don't care how much it's going to cost you later. I don't care how much money you're going to lose later. I don't care how much you're over the cap later. I just want it now. Your wish is my command. Here it comes. Okay, up next, how much would winning this little tournament help LeBron's GOAT case?
Guess we'll be hearing that lyric.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.